But I think social media is a tremendous threat to our young people. And of course, we're all talking about screens and the anxious generation and so on. And that's absolutely relevant and very real. And I think, as adults, we need to have some sympathy and empathy for young adults.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us again. My name is Miss Mokaya of the Teachers Podcast KE, where we talk about everything child well-being, child safeguarding, and making sure that our children are well taken care of. As a teacher, it's a passion of mine to give information to everybody that is in contact with children to help them safeguard children. And safeguarding means we prevent harm from happening before it happens instead of reacting later. As a society, we have a lot of things going on, and sometimes we might forget how important children are. So here we go. We have talked about drugs. We've talked about mental illness. We've talked about behavior. Here to help me discuss the dynamics of children in schools and at home is the CEO of Braeburn Group of Schools, Mr. Nick Magnus. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Would you maybe say something about yourself and your journey with why Kenya? That's something I see you say all the time.
Why Kenya?
Yeah.
Well, because it's home. So I have recently returned to Kenya after 19 years away. I spent 13 years in Singapore. I spent 5.5 years in China. But before that, and people aren't always aware of this, I was actually in Kenya for 9 years.
9 years.
So I was the headmaster of Braeburn School in Lavington. And I was there for 9 years. So when I was looking for the next challenge professionally, I thought it's time to go home. So that is why Kenya.
It's because Kenya is home.
It is for me, yes.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Asante sana.
Yeah. So let's start by talking about the children at school and at home. What would you say is the biggest hindrance to their thriving at home or at school?
Sure. Well, I think that social media, and I feel a bit of a hypocrite here because I'm always on social media. But I think social media is a tremendous threat to our young people. And of course, we're all talking about screens and the anxious generation and so on. And that's absolutely relevant and very real. But I think there's a bigger picture here when I think about the anxious generation and this sort of shock horror reaction. Oh my word, our children are in danger. Well, there's nothing new here. We knew that there were these concerns. We knew that there was an over reliance on screens, on phones. It's the same with adults as it is with young people. So this was no surprise to us, but it seemed to be a bit of a surprise, for some parents. And I think that when you look at sort of the well-being of our young people, it's important to sort of consider all the stakeholders. So you've got our students, and especially for teenagers, things are far more difficult now than they've ever been. Far more difficult than we were their age. And I think as adults, we need to have some sympathy and empathy for young adults. Because being a teenager can be pretty grim. And we've all been there, and I think we can sometimes conveniently forget how challenging it is when you make that transition from childhood to adulthood. So it's a tough time, and we've got to be there for our young people. As teachers, I think we're aware. There can be no doubt now that there has to be balance when it comes to the use of screens involved in the education of our young people. Technology should be there to enhance the learning experience and not replace the learning experience. So it's all a question of balance. And I think that many schools already have got it in hand when it comes to phones. There are those things in place. I think it's, for a 14, 15-year-old, there's no crime in having a phone to listen to your music on the bus coming to school.
Yeah.
But it really has no place, I think, once you're in school.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm not against the integration of technology into what we do. But again, it's about balance. But I think one thing that I think that we do need to focus on, and that is the role of parents. Now, I'm a parent myself.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. I think we sometimes take parenting for granted. Parenting is arguably the most important job that you will ever have as an adult, to be trusted with bringing up human beings is something which is an honor and a privilege. Yet it's something for which we receive absolutely no training whatsoever other than the experience of our own childhood. And not all of us were blessed with a happy childhood.
Yeah.
So parenting is extremely difficult, and my concerns are that some parents are too frightened to be parents.
They're too scared.
They want to be their child's friend.
Ooh.
And the reasons for that can be numerous. But you're not their friend, you're their parent.
Yeah.
And that's very, very different. And when you're a parent, there will be difficult conversations.
Correct.
And there will be a need for tough love sometimes. And that's really important.
Yeah.
And often I'll have a conversation with a parent and they'll say to me, well, I don't want to have that conversation with my child. I don't want to upset them.
Yeah.
If I say that, they'll be mad with me. And I say, but you must do this.
Yeah.
You need to have these conversations.
What the child needs.
This is what the child needs. You are their parent.
Yeah.
And my point here is that we can manage phones and screen time in school. That really is quite straightforward.
Yeah.
And any school worth its salt is doing that right now.
Yes.
But for me, the big concern is phones and screens at home and in bedrooms. Now, when we were teenagers, Esther, when we were teenagers, there would be pressures, there would be disagreements, there would be unpleasantness, because this is what happens when you're a teenager.
Yes.
But you went home at 5 o'clock.
You did.
And it was over. And you had peace and respite until the next morning. Today, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when it's really starting.
The chaos begins.
And it goes through the evening, and it goes on to night, and the children and the young adults are awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're still on social media, and they wake up the next morning and they're traumatized and they're upset by some of the things that might happen, or at the very least by the fact they've had about 3 hours sleep. So, for me, stop worrying about phones in school.
Worry about phones at home.
Worry about phones at home.
Yeah.
No phones upstairs after 8 o'clock in the evening. Leave your phones in a box at the bottom of the stairs, and you pick them up in the morning when you come downstairs for breakfast. That is the right balance.
So we need to then call parents into the room and tell them that the shoe that is dropping is at home.
We don't tell parents anything.
Yeah.
We work in partnership with them. Because
partner.
as I said at the start there, we have to have sympathy and empathy.
Yes.
That this is a three-way partnership: home, school, and the students.
Yeah.
All three of those stakeholders have responsibility, but all three have challenges, and we should be sympathetic to that. So it's absolutely about working together in partnership.
I like that you say partnership and empathy at the same time, because then we are not looking to catch children in action. We are looking to prevent things from happening. So if, as a parent, I am able to give you information that will help you support my child, as a teacher, I can give you information that will help you support your child, then the school is working together.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in different cultures, and I think this is particularly in the West sometimes, there's a culture of them and us. It's home versus school, and the child stuck somewhere in the middle. From my limited experience of my time, overseas, recently in Kenya, but obviously extensively in Asia, there's a far better appreciation and understanding of the importance of that partnership. There's a lot more trust in the schools, and parents and teachers have got to work in partnership for their children.
So from the school perspective, and it's good that you've brought up the fact that in other parts of the world, maybe the partnership, there's more trust. As a school leader, myself and yourself, how do we make sure that we build trust with parents?
It's honesty, it's transparency, it's openness, it's dialogue, it's communication, it's ensuring that you respect your parent body by keeping them informed about what's happening. That when key decisions are made, when important changes are made, that they're part of that change process.
They're part of the process.
And it builds ownership, it builds a sense of identity, it builds a sense of belonging. This is our school, and once they have that buy-in and it's our school, then you'll have authentic partnership.
Authentic, okay. So in forming this partnership, is it easier when we operate on just purely trust, or do we need to embed policy in the partnership?
There's no trust without proof. There's no trust without evidence. There's no trust without the school leading by example. And I think that you certainly need policies and procedures to be in place. I think sometimes as teachers, teachers are, when it comes to policy, it's like, oh, another policy.
One more paperwork.
But, the policy is your friend. It's a guidance, it's a support. So you need policies and procedures in place. You need to know where you stand. But then, moving forward from there, it's about talking, it's about communicating, it's about building that relationship. And if you get that right, trust will come with it. And once you have trust, then you can do great things.
Oh, amazing. So you also talked about tech should enhance learning and not replace. It should be enhancing. How much do we need to invest in teacher training, especially in tech? I mean, now we see a lot of platforms that can help make teaching easier. How much do schools need to invest in terms of the teachers themselves?
Well, investment in the professional learning and development of any teacher is essential, whether it be technology related or otherwise. It's a cliche, but we're lifelong learners. We must always be striving to learn, to be better, if we're going to make sure that our students have the very best opportunities and outcomes. And of course, technology is a wonderful way to support with this, because, and for me, the greatest use of technology is to improve teacher efficacy. Now, I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher now for 35 years. And we are one of the most inefficient professions that I know. We work hard. We fill our day with stuff. And so much of that stuff can be avoided, can be reduced, can be more efficient. And we now do have the technology to support us with that. So, for example, proofreading of reports. You write your reports, a collective sigh of relief, and then you have to spend days reading someone else's reports to correct their mistakes. No more. So in my former school, we introduced an AI program, which then proofreads the reports. It checks for spellings, it checks for grammar, it checks if names are wrong, and hey presto, you've saved on that task. I was in a chemistry class where I saw differentiation at a whole new level, where students were working on a task. If they completed the task and it was self-marked by the program, and everything was fine, they went on to the next task. If they got stuck, they put their hand up, they spoke to the teacher, the teacher came over and was supporting them. Within half an hour, one group still working with the teacher, they're working on the first or the second activity,
Yeah.
but the higher flying, more able group are on their fifth or sixth activity.
Yeah.
Now, there's no way that as a teacher we could have prepared for that
Yeah.
or planned for it or even managed that
Yeah.
without the use of technology. So, efficiency in terms of lesson planning, in terms of resourcing, in terms of differentiation, in terms of some of the mundane tasks, marking, for
Marking,
example,
yeah.
no more marking.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it anymore. You can check to see what's happened. You can see where the errors are,
Yeah.
even though it will tell you where the errors
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
But I would sit there and write and mark 500 sides of A4 a week.
Yeah.
That was my life.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So if for example, work is handwritten, we are about to, for example, do mocks now. I teach literature. How do I then check for, and especially because the examining bodies are still handwritten, how do we adapt to that? Because I have had students asking, why do we need to handwrite when after that I will never write again?
Well, it's a fair point,
Yeah.
I mean, why are they handwriting them? How many of us handwrite in the world of work?
But the examination body requires them to handwrite.
Well, exactly, but it's not right, is it?
So we need to change that.
Well, I mean, there are so many things we need to change. We need to start with changing universities. Universities are crying out that students at 18, 19 are not future ready.
Yeah.
They don't have the skills.
Yeah.
Yet they still insist upon an exam-based assessment culture.
So how are we preparing them?
So if you're good at exams,
Yeah.
you're fine. I was lucky.
Yeah.
I have a good memory.
Yeah.
I'm a historian.
Yeah.
I have a good memory. I was good at exams.
Yeah.
Other people,
Are
not
not.
so.
Are not.
So yeah, I mean, handwritten exams, why?
Why in this day and age?
Why?
So the students are
What,
right
what,
to
is our
worry.
what is our purpose? Isn't our purpose to prepare our children for life in the real adult world?
Yeah.
And much as I would love to, and I love writing with an ink pen. I love writing with a pen.
Yeah.
And I think it's an important skill to have.
Yeah.
But once you get towards that more adult lifestyle, tertiary education, the world of work, do as work does.
Do as work does.
And it's not handwritten.
That's true. That's true. So now let's get into the students. What they're saying. I've touched a bit of what the students are saying. That's the part. I come from a background where students didn't have a voice. When I went to school, and even some local schools now, students are to be seen, not to be heard. Those are some of the things you will hear.
Yeah.
What's the position of student voice now? Of student voice in this education system now?
Sure. Well, I'm a huge advocate for student voice.
Yeah.
Because, again, what is our purpose? Is our purpose for our young people to leave school at 18 with lots of exam certificates? Great, but that is a byproduct.
Yeah.
Our purpose is to produce kind, compassionate, caring, empathetic individuals who are the leaders, the change makers, the peacemakers, and the influencers of tomorrow. These people, the people in our care, will be the leaders of tomorrow. And it is our duty to prepare them for that. And how do we prepare them for it? We tell them to be quiet. We tell them not to speak.
Yeah.
We tell them to be respectful.
Yeah.
Listen to your elders.
Yeah.
Do not challenge.
Yeah.
Do not have an opinion. Do not speak up. How are they supposed to learn to be better leaders? Now, of course, in giving them that voice, it must be done in a respectful way.
Yeah.
It must be done in a respectful way.
Yeah.
It must be done in a structured way.
Yeah.
But we've got to empower our people with a voice. We've got to listen to what they say. I am over 50 years old. Do I really know what's going on in a 15-year-old mind in 2025? No, I don't. No. But I tell you who does know, that's that 15-year-old. So respectfully ask them, and if you respectfully ask them, they'll respectfully give you an answer.
Yeah. So we must start listening. We unlearn the habit that students do not have anything to offer.
It's about life skills. It's about life skills. It's about open dialogue. It's about comfortable having difficult conversations. It's about respectfully disagreeing with someone. These are the life skills that we can start working with our young people from an early age, and it will prepare them to be the leaders of tomorrow, and it will differentiate them. It will make them stand out.
Yeah.
And as parents, we all want our children to get ahead.
Yeah.
This life skill
Yeah.
will empower them and make them stand out.
So then we complete the triangle of the student, teacher, and school. Let's talk about the boy child now. As a school leader, once again, sometimes I've struggled with, boys standing out. Has that been your experience of leading?
Well, I think we have to appreciate that male and female are different.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that equality is absolutely important. I think opportunity is important. As the father of a daughter, never did it come home to me more that I realised that the opportunities that my son would receive would never be the same as the opportunities that my daughter would receive. And that hit me like a sledgehammer when I realised that. I talked about equity before, but realising that was the case really upset me.
Yeah.
But I think we have to appreciate that boys and girls are not the same, so they should be treated differently.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a stereotype, but we tend to see that girls from the age of 10 to 14 tend to mature at different rates. There are certain things with females, like friendship issues, which can be extremely challenging.
Yeah.
From the age of 13 through to 16, 17.
Yeah.
And with boys, boys just do daft things. They just don't think. The conversations, I've had 100 conversations over the years. I'm like, why did you do that?
I don't
know. So boys do daft things, and you have to appreciate that. But one thing that's wonderful about boys is that, and it makes them a little bit special, is they are incredibly loyal. They have a great sense of loyalty.
Yeah.
And in fact, often the scrapes they get into in school are as a result of that loyalty being challenged.
That's true.
So all for equity, but appreciate that boys and girls are different and they need different things and they need to be treated differently as well.
Once again, let me go back to the education system. Do you feel like the education system favors the girl because we all sit in class? Girls are more likely to sit in class and be calm.
It's a bigger issue. Education. Yeah. It's about society.
Yeah.
And we live in an unequal society, socially, in terms of gender.
Yeah.
And education can't change that unless society changes.
Okay. So, let me maybe ask this question. What makes a happy school? If a child comes to school, what in your opinion would make... Should children be happy in school?
Of course.
They should need to.
It's one of those things that you never appreciate something until you haven't got it anymore. And we don't appreciate that our school days are and should be the very best days of our lives.
That's true.
And some of us look back with much fondness on that, and others do not. So every child deserves to have a happy childhood, to have a good schooling, to have a good experience. Yeah. And there are many ways that you can go about that, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to relationships. Yeah. And it all comes down, it's quite simple. It's not about fancy buildings and resources and computers and swimming pools and science labs. It's about teachers who know their children. They know where that child has come from. They know where that child is at now. They know where they're taking that child next to maximise their learning potential. They know the child as an individual in their care. And they always place the interests of that child first. Okay. Not the interests of the teacher, not even the interests of the parents, but the interests of the child. And if you do that, and if you know the children in your care, you won't go too far wrong.
So relationships.
Relationships, it's everything. Yeah. The world over, whatever you're doing, the world of work and school, it's all about relationships.
That's right.
Which is one thing that we have over technology.
Yeah.
And that's that human interaction.
Relationships, yeah, and interaction. So, in conclusion, would you think maybe, for example, now Australia is banning social media for children under 16? Do you think that's a step in the right direction or a moral panic?
I've never been a fan of banning things.
Banning, yeah.
Don't ban things. When we look through authoritarian regimes through history,
Yeah.
that's what they do. You don't like something, you can't think outside of the box, ban it. Well, good luck with that, because when you ban something, you just force it underground.
Yeah.
You make it subversive. People will find alternatives. Children, young adults, teenagers, they'll find a way around anything, especially if it's technology involved. So all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. All you're doing is setting yourself up for conflict. Banning things does not work. Work in partnership. Look for some compromise. Have some rules. Get the students as part of that discussion.
Yeah.
Get contracts signed.
Yes.
Yes, there are consequences. Yes, there is accountability. But from the start, rather than me just banning this, you bought into this, you agreed to this, you understand that you can't have a phone from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the school day. It's not appropriate. Unfortunately, you've broken that rule and there will be consequences.
Okay.
But we respected you to work in partnership with you. You respect us in return. Ban the phone and you'll be patrolling the toilets and the bike sheds every lunchtime and break time every day of the year.
Because now you're looking for the things that, the contraband.
You'll just force it underground. Human nature. We know this will happen.
The thing that we say no is the thing that they will try.
As soon as you say no to a teenager, they want to do it. Irrespective.
That's true. That's true. So that they feel that they have gone around your rules. I want to wind down by asking the question of bullying, especially when it happens at home. And you alluded to it, the things that happen at home, the phones should not go to the bedroom. And I've seen a lot of social media about what schools need to do to ensure bullying doesn't happen. And we do a lot of campaigns around that. If it happened at home, should it be solved at school?
I think if it impacts school life, then yes.
If it impacts.
And of course, what we have now is, and I spoke to it earlier, because of social media, it never ends. And we've seen a huge increase in bullying taking place online. Because of course, it's easy to be brave behind a screen. You will say something to someone that you wouldn't on a screen, on a phone, that you wouldn't dream of saying to their face. But everyone's brave. Everyone's a keyboard warrior. And to be honest with you, we see that in adult behavior as well. When you're writing your angry email to someone, you're a lot braver and sometimes a lot ruder than you would do
speak to them.
if you were speaking to them. And when you see them the next day and say, "Oh, I was rather taken aback by your by your email. Oh, I'm terribly sorry." Especially if they've had a few glasses of wine as well in the evening. But back to bullying. There's just absolutely, there's no escape for our young people, and they can be vicious. And if that is impinging upon school life, then again, and if we are committed to that partnership, then we've got to work together on this. And I've had parents say to me, "I'm sorry, but this is outside of school. It's got nothing to do with you. If I've got a girl, a female student who's sexting or sending, inappropriate images of herself, and suddenly she's got massive well-being issues as a result of it. She's got massive safeguarding issues as a result of it. We need to work in partnership. And you're right, it's all about education with our young people, but it's about working in partnership. And, online is forever. Online has consequences. Texting something in the privacy of your own room that impacts negatively another individual is wrong, and in some cases is a crime.
That's true. So and then that goes back to what you spoke about. We are raising people to be kind, to speak up, to be good human beings. And for us to do that, we need to work in partnership.
Is there any other reason why we're here?
No, it's to take care of it. It's an important role to be a parent. And I thank you for taking time to be with us. But maybe there's one thing you'd like to tell a parent out there or a student that you would like them to remember from your conversation here. What would that be?
I think it's about the importance of that partnership. I think it's about schools respecting parents and working with them. It's about parents working with schools and understanding, appreciating that they really, really do have the best interests of their children at heart. And it's about our young people realising that both their mum and dad and their school do love them, and they have their best interests at heart. And together, that holy trinity will see us home.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Mr. Magnus.
Thank you, bless you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experience. And thank you for, giving to the children, because I know that you're very, very passionate about children.
My pleasure. I'm very lucky to be a teacher.
Thank you. This has been the Teachers Podcast KE. Thank you for watching and engaging, and I hope that this information is beneficial to you as a parent. If it is, share with somebody who needs to learn, share with a child, share with a parent, and let's engage. Let's engage. But above all, the best interest of the child has got to be first. Thank you for being here, and goodbye.